Welcome everyone. Welcome here on this beautiful summer-like winter day.
It is. We call it fall spring here in New England.
Yes, it's gorgeous out today, and I think it's low 60s today. Oh, 61 according to my computer, so.
Oh, mine says 55.
Oh,
Are we in the same room?
Yep, we are.
Yeah. Yep, there you are.
6 degrees difference. But anyway, today we're going to talk about safety.
It's a serious topic.
Yes, my son went through a lot of safety issues. If you don't know, my name's Sherry. If you're a first-time listener, welcome. I'm Sherry. I'm a mother of a child with Down syndrome.
I'm a special education teacher.
And my son had a lot of safety issues when he was younger. Walking out of the house, parking lot safety, all kinds of things. And it's very nerve-wracking. Thank God he's 15 now, and he has grown into a lot of that maturity. I still always keep an ear or extra eyes out just in case, because I don't fully trust that 100%.
He's learned not to just leave the house in the middle of the night.
Well, he's never did that, but like during the day with the dog going out in the backyard.
It's something that happens though. And it's called elopement, and it's something that a lot of families with children with special needs live in fear of. And they have to put special alarms on their doors.
Yes.
So that it rings every time the door opens, just so that their children don't escape in the night.
Yes.
So.
Which is frightening. Thankfully, he was a very sound sleeper in the night. But some kids with disabilities do not sleep very well at night for some reason. But you know, that's something we always practice. I mean, he still doesn't have the safety skills to be home by himself. Like he doesn't have, wouldn't know what to do in a fire, or if somebody knocked on the door yet, you know. Right. So those, as you said, in the teenage years, he doesn't have the appropriate skills of a 15-year-old. Because, you know, when your kid's 10, 12, around that age, parents start leaving them home alone a little bit. Right. But they have to be at a point where they could call 911 or call grandma to come over and
would know
out.
what to do if the smoke alarm went off, or if a stranger came to the door. Kids with disabilities take a little bit longer to learn those skills and to have those problem-solving abilities right there at their fingertips. Right. One of the things that the CDC recommends is that you make sure that your child has appropriate problem-solving skills before you let them go outside by themselves or stay home alone. Do they have the ability to ask for help if they need it? Do they know that they need help if suddenly a pipe bursts and the bathroom fills with water? Do they know that they have to call someone?
Or if they called you, they could follow the instructions of shut off the valve.
Right, how to shut the water off so that they wouldn't get soaked. These are concerns that every parent deals with, but I think for a family with a child with disabilities, it's even more important, and things that the average family never thinks about have to be in the forefront of a family with disabilities.
It's kind of like being stuck in the toddler years.
Somewhat, yes. One of the things that I was thinking about
I was trying to give an example for maybe families who don't have a child with disabilities. It would kind of be like, you know, dealing with toddler issues with a 10-year-old, like that safety.
Absolutely. And or that inability to have those problem-solving skills so that they know what to do. Again, if a pipe breaks or the smoke alarm is going off. Absolutely, that's a good analogy. What was I talking?
Even though I know some toddlers who are very bright and that stuff very young.
Might know what to do, or who to call for help, or have the wherewithal. You hear all the time about kids. A medical emergency happens at home. They're home alone with an adult, and the adult has a medical emergency, and a 3-year-old knows to call 911 and can respond to directions. Fabulous.
Right.
However, for a kid with disabilities, they might be a little bit older before they have that wherewithal to know to call 911 or what to do.
Or even like my son, he may know what to do, but he doesn't have the verbal skills.
You know what? That's one of the things the CDC says to make sure your child has is the verbal skills to, or that's something to take into consideration. Are their verbal skills developed enough so that they would be understandable to the 911 operator or to a person that they call for help?
Right. Like my son's hard of hearing, so he has a deaf phone at home. We haven't gotten him the cell phone yet, but when he does, he will have that capability to talk through relay or to call 911 services directly through an interpreter because he is fluent in American Sign Language. So he would, in a different language, be able to
communicate what was happening.
Yeah.
One of the things that the CDC also highlights is when you're considering whether your child is going to be safe is, do they have problems making decisions? Would they be able to look at a situation and say, oh, I need to call for help? Or would they sit and not deal with it?
And a good way to observe that is like my backyard's fenced in and my son will go out with the dog or whatever. But I sometimes watch because sometimes the swing has water on it, kind of see what he does or if a branch fell off the tree. So you can observe, give them the space because they do need space to grow. We can't always hover on them, but they don't need to know that you're watching them so they're still safe. But then you can observe if they're developing those skills.
Right.
And how to navigate those things. Because
you know what? That's great because that was one of the recommendations is to sort of give your child a little bit of a long leash so that you can watch them. You're still observing. You're still there if there's a real emergency, but you're observing how they handle things. Or maybe take them out in public and see if they're able to ask questions. One of the things I've always I've worked on with other kids is when the item you don't want is when the item you want isn't in front of you, are you able to ask someone where it might be?
Right. And also stranger
danger. That's a tricky one. Yeah. And for some kids, it takes a lot of explicit teaching. Right. These are the people that you can trust. These are the people you can't. So another thing the CDC
John Walsh actually has a video out for kids, and I can't remember the name of it, but both of my kids, my typical son and Nathan, have watched it when they were little, and Nathan did get it from that video. And if you don't know, John Walsh's son was taken and murdered when he was a little kid.
Right, and he actually had a television program about
he did.
The most wanted.
Yes.
Like finding criminals out there, because I guess I really never found.
I mean, my kids are both older, but he had a young woman, and so she would have like a green outfit on or a yellow one or a red one, and who were safe side adults, what situations were safe, which ones were caution, which ones were definitely no. And they would go through these different scenarios with kids. And when my son at his other school, a grandfather of a young girl that was in his class came up to him, and he didn't really know him. And my son was able to, he knew it was a cautious situation.
Right.
It was just a grandpa. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He thought he'd just say hi because he recognized my son in class, but he didn't know him very well. So just from that video, I knew he was getting it. And my kids used to watch that over and over again. And it's not a frightening video, and I wish I could remember the name of it. I don't even know if he still makes it. I
know. That would be a great resource to have, because one of the things, and I love that
Safe Side Super Chick is what it's called.
Safe Side Super Chick.
Yeah.
All right, well, maybe you'll find a link to it and we'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, that's what it was.
One of the things I've used to teach stranger danger with kids, and I love the fact that John Walsh used that red, yellow, green, because we use concentric circles. We call it circles of friends. And if I could think of the actual publisher, I will put that in the comments as well. But it used, the people on the outside of your circle are red. They're people that you approach with caution. They're people that you would wave to. People in the yellow are people that you would shake hands with and that you might talk to, but you're not going to share too much information with them. It's the people in your inner circle
this is it right
that
here.
you Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
We'll put a link in the
Yes.
comments. The
Looks
people
like
in your
it's
inner
still on
circle, those are
Amazon.
your trusted family and
Mhm.
friends, the people that would pick you up from school, the people that you could go in the car with.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, because it recommends that your child knows who their safe side adults are. They should have 3. They know who's allowed to pick them up at school. This goes over scenarios of coaches trying to lure a kid into the car, but it's done in a way that it's not scary.
Good.
Um,
And that's important because above all, you don't want to frighten
No.
a typical or a child with disabilities.
But it gives them the tools. It even teaches them to yell, "This is not my mom. This is not my dad." If they were in a store and
Right.
somebody who may appear to be their parent, and you may think, "Oh, their parent's just picking them up
Right,
because they're
right.
being fresh or something like that," where it gives children the permission to yell, "This is not my mom. This is not my dad." But then, I think of like somebody like my son. Somebody may not understand those
What
words.
he's saying, right.
So, if you get that weird feeling like something's not right, don't be afraid to call the police. That's what they're there for, to go
Absolutely.
check it out. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Not that you're trying to cause problems with anybody, but
I know there's that fine line between being nosy and being helpful, but they call it intuition. Follow your intuition. If you see a child yelling at an adult, and just stop and listen for a moment and make sure that they're not yelling, "You're not my mom."
But it made my kids aware that they didn't let adults that they didn't know well in their personal space, like even at the pool. My oldest son, I give him that long leash to go down to the vending machine or get something. But I noticed he was looking around, and if somebody he didn't know well came close in his personal space at the vending machine, he would move away.
Good.
So
that's
it's a great
another
video.
recommendation from the CDC is the first thing to teach your child is to be aware of their surroundings. And for children with autism spectrum disorders or attention deficit or cognitive impairments, they may take longer to develop these skills. Don't be impatient with them, and don't think that they're never going to develop the awareness or develop safety skills. It takes a lot of practice and rehearsal, and they actually even suggest role playing. I'm somebody in your yellow. How are you going to treat me? I'm someone in your red band. How are you going to treat me? Like you don't have another 100 million things to do in a day. You could even really make this fun. It could be a fun part.
Right, but the most important thing that you can do is make sure your kid has the skills to be safe and has the authority to say no to an adult that they don't feel safe around. And that's so critically important, just like having your kid being water safe,
Right.
that if they fall into a body of water, they can get to the side and pull themselves out.
Right.
That's just another very important life skill. But even with stranger danger,
Strangers.
it's critically important, for kids to feel safe in their surroundings and have the skills and the tools to.
Absolutely.
And that's critically important for people with
all children,
all
but
children.
especially children with disabilities,
Right.
as they tend to be targeted by predators. So
Yes,
on
they
that
do
happy
have fire.
note,
Yeah.
on that happy note, we're
The
bridge builders of
statistics aren't good
diversity.
on kids with disabilities with that stuff.
No, but we're bridge builders of diversity. We want to bring you happy and unhappy topics. And so if there's something that you want to hear about, feel free to drop it in the comments. Please remember to hit the bell notification, like and share with all your friends. Comment, please. We would love to hear from you about things that you would like to hear about.
Yes. We appreciate you all, and thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you next time.